Welcome to Inspiration in Action Television, where you'll meet people who will inspire you to bring your dreams to life. Our guest is one of my favorite people on the planet Earth. Joel Haslam, journalist, storyteller, amazing human being, works for CTV Ottawa, does a program called Regional Contact.
I am so blessed and so happy to be here and in your company. It's so great.
Joel and I used to work together. We spent 14 years roaming Eastern Ontario, West Quebec, looking for interesting stories to share with our viewers. And I learned so much from this guy about storytelling because really, you know, it's not something you can learn, that passion about it. It's something you have or you don't have. And you helped me to sort of mine my passion for telling stories. So I appreciate you joining us today to talk about your story.
Well, I didn't have to work very hard to teach you to be a storyteller, Kathie, because as you say, you had the gift, you understood people, you walked into their lives and quickly became a part of them, learned to understand them, learned to communicate with them, and of course, share their passions for life.
Talk about what it is about sharing other people's stories that really fills you.
Well, I think every day is an absolute brand new adventure. And when you can wake up in the morning not really knowing what you're going to get, but just knowing that it's going to be something absolutely incredible, how can you not want to go to work? So we would, you walk into someone's lives, and no matter what kind of day you're having, their passion for what they're doing, their love for what they're doing is so completely infectious. So whatever adventure that they're embarking on in their lives automatically becomes yours, and your only job is to share it with everyone else who in turn appreciates it very much.
To let those people shine. We should mention that Regional Contact is a program that shines a light on people and their passions. Fair to say?
Absolutely.
We called it Heart and Soul Television because really the stories had a lot of heart and they really touched people in their heart and mined the soul of why people did what they do.
I think what's so interesting is I think Regional Contact in many ways was the absolute original reality series before reality series became about all those sort of dark and more clandestine sides of people's lives that somehow we have a dark interest in. Ours was about the interest in their light. And I think it did, as you say, shine a light on people and continues to shine a light on people. And I think we are very, as a society, as people, we're hungry for stories about inspiration. We're hungry for stories about people living their dreams, and it's so refreshing to see them on TV and to see that people are actually still doing that, and that people want to inspire others by the way they're living.
And there's a huge appetite for this type of programming. The shocking part is that Regional Contact, unlike most television shows, would have been on the air in its half-hour format for 40 years. It was on for 39, right?
It's a little show that could.
Changed the format of the show, but holy moly, who gets that? And you were part of that for 24 of those years. An honorable steward, I have to say, for the initial inspiration, which was to connect people at one end of the viewing region with people at the other end of the viewing region to show them they had a lot in common. And when you talk about people wanting, sort of hungry for, how other people live their lives, and then, us having the sort of intention of shining a light and being an inspiration to people and helping other people to cultivate their own dreams. It's really quite astounding.
Well, I think I feel, first of all, very privileged, as I'm sure you did. I know you did, to be a custodian of such a great treasure, not only in our region, but I think it's a show that had universal appeal. It didn't have to just play in our region. It just happened to play in our region. The people that we met could live anywhere, and they could be, it's cross-cultural. And I think of, certain examples of just walking through my neighborhood with my dog. And I remember seeing a woman, and she was walking with a cane. She was elderly, was affected by a disability, and was living with a disability, and she was walking her little dog. And she stopped me and she said, "I just wanted to take a minute to thank you and Kathie for taking me on all those adventures. We've gone dog sledding and whitewater rafting and hot air ballooning, and we've got to see what happens in a blacksmith shop and in a glass blowing shop. And they're all places I never ever will get to in my lifetime. But because of you and because of that show, that vehicle takes us there week after week, and it infuses these people with a sense of living that they might not otherwise get."
Absolutely.
So to have the privilege of being sort of the conduit for that is really an absolute blessing. And as you know, you can't go into an experience like that and not walk away a bigger, better, more whole person.
Or inspired to go and do something like what we're doing with Inspiration in Action TV. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, you've done great, because how many times did we walk away from that saying, oh man, these people, like, how are we ever going to live up to that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I mean, it's really incredible.
Well, we're just going to keep on inspiring and inspiring. Tell me, as a kid growing up, did you see yourself being a storyteller, being a journalist? What was your dream?
It's funny, because as a kid growing up, my dream really, I wanted to be a teacher. And actually thought I was going to be a teacher. I wanted to teach special education. I was actually accepted into a program to teach special education, go to university. And it was one of those freak moments in high school when I was walking by the library and I saw the brochure, because this was long before the internet. Dating myself here. And I saw a brochure to come to Carleton to study journalism. And for some reason, I just knew. I went, yeah, journalism. But I guess, you know, when I go back to being a kid, I was a public speaking champion
no other way to put it,
in my
folks,
hometown of Scarborough. But I would get
Yeah.
up and I really enjoyed that process. I enjoyed the process of telling a little story and getting up to some degree and sharing that story with other people and talking in front of crowds and going through that. And it wasn't so much the performance. I think there was just that whole notion of communication. So I think, you know, the one gift that I was given was that little distraction at the school library when I saw the sign for Carleton, because it took my life in a completely different direction. And, you know, you don't realize it until years later, but those sorts of moments, you know, whether they're destiny meant to happen, they are life-changing. Yeah. And it's only upon reflection later on that you realize that that's maybe why it happened and why you're living the life you did.
And can I just tell you that you are a teacher, and every time you tell a story, you teach us something? Well, so thank you for that.
Thank you very much, as are you, and with what you're doing now especially. And it's just such a valuable and honorable job that you've chosen and path that you're taking.
And fun too.
Yeah, we had lots of fun. We still have lots of fun.
We still have lots of fun. Joel and I are still great friends. So I wanted to ask you, you know, you get inspiration obviously from everything you look at in your day, no doubt, but what really sort of pushes you, Joel, to keep this dream alive?
I think it's the notion of people constantly surprising me and doing things that you can't imagine, or discovering their resourcefulness, or their how, you know, we use the word passion a lot, and I think it gets thrown around, but some people really are passionate. And, you know, a great example for us, I think, that we experienced is, you know, we all know about Ottawa's tech boom and how lucrative it was for so many people and how many people were involved. And when that crashed, it had absolutely an incredible impact on the program Regional Contact, in that we have met so many people over the years who had no choice but to reinvent themselves. And I think what was so fascinating about the reinvention was that they decided to do things that they loved, with money not being the goal, and yet in the end ended up a lot more satisfied, without one regret, and in their hearts much, much happier.
Well, I think you just described my life too, just to say. But listen, no matter where he goes, no matter what he does in the future, Joel Haslam is always going to have an awesome story to tell. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for letting me be part of your story.
You so
I
much.
love you.